on a Super Saturday here at the Sydney Football Stadium. The Roosters fans have come here to see if they can upset the Seagulls, who are coming off the back of 2 straight losses, one here just 12 days ago against the West Tigers on Monday Night Football back in round 21. And of course, last Saturday night at home at Brookvale in front of a good Manly crowd, they went down rather convincingly to the South Sydney Rabbitohs. They have a bit to prove here tonight. And of course, they have a big chance to move back, for the moment at least, into 5th place with a win against the Roosters here this evening. There's their back line: Robertson, Farah, Lyon, Matai, David Williams, Kieran Foran is back in first grade. And Matt Orford is the halfback and captain. The forward pack is King, Ballin, Perry, Watmo, Bailey and Glenn Stewart. And there are no changes to their bench either that was named earlier in the week, with Lestrange, Kite, Rose and Rodney making it up. The Roosters, they've been in good form, of course, in recent times, given their standards in 2009, Brandy, and well, a win also against the Newcastle Knights just a couple of weeks ago. They'll fancy their chances here this evening. Yeah, pushed the Tigers last week too, only a 7-point loss. Perrott at the back, Haraki, Orbison, Saar and Kenny Dow the 3-quarters, Minicello and Pearce the halves. The forwards for the Roosters look this way: Sala, Friend and Payer up front, Soliola, Mason and Fitzgibbon in the back row. Fitzgibbon the captain, and Wanga, Shackleton, Brown and Jones the interchange bench. Will be the 4th last game in the Roosters coaching career of Brad Fittler, of course. There they are at the bottom of the table. It has been a disappointing season by any measure. 5 wins, 15 losses. They can avoid the wooden spoon, though, still. That'll be a major motivating factor over this final month of the regular season. The Seagulls, as we said, 10 wins, 10 losses. And with the 2 points here tonight, for the moment at least, as we said, could move all the way up into 5th position in front of the Penrith Panthers if they can beat the Roosters here. And well, I think it would put them, a win tonight would put them within 1 win of perhaps sealing a berth in the finals for 2009. Oh, they are desperate for a win. And if you look at those teams, Newcastle and Brisbane sitting below them, but also on 24 points. The Parramatta Eels, who will play tonight, on 23. A loss here to Manly could see them drop well outside the top 8. That's not what they want. Inside the Seagulls dressing room, of course, as we mentioned in our pre-game show, there was a fair bit made during the week of a moment, a heated discussion on field last week between Anthony Watmo and his captain, Matt Orford. Desi Hasler, he knew that it was nothing more than a bit of passion rising to the surface. He said during the week we have other areas we need to fix as far as controlling the ball and getting through our sets and avoiding some of those, what he described as dumb plays on tackle 1, because they've coughed it up pretty easily at times, especially when they find themselves in good scoring positions. Yeah, they haven't been fantastic. They've had a couple of really terrific wins in the past 6 weeks, but even some of their wins, they've been a little disappointing and only just got home. I think the Orford-Watmo argument on the field would have been forgotten about pretty quickly last week. They would have been disappointed with their performance against South Sydney, and I think they'll be up to it here tonight. They'll want a good start up against a committed Roosters outfit. As Matt Orford leads them on to the football stadium, we saw their coach, Des Hasler, walking down the tunnel with the players at the back of the lineup there. We'll wait and see if he stays down near the sideline to watch on, or he takes a berth up in the coach's box, the mid-level here at the football stadium. There is Matt Orford. His short kicking game at times in the last couple of weeks has been below par. It certainly hurt them against the Tigers here on Monday Night Football 2 weeks ago. Some kicks that didn't get through the line led to points, long breaks by the Tigers. We'll wait and see what Mitchell Pearce can do with his kicking game tonight, because at its best it's very, very good. No, it was effective. It was certainly effective at some stages through the season and last year. Mitchell Pearce has been one of the Roosters players that has been committed for the full season. Some of his defence during the year has been outstanding. Jake Friend, we spoke about him in the pre-game, looks much more comfortable in his role at dummy half and gives the Roosters something out of there. Makes the defence think about what he's doing. Jared Maxwell, our referee, in his 78th game. Along with Bernard Sutton at the other end of the field. Matty Orford gets us underway quick, smart. No mucking around here tonight at the football stadium, especially for the Seagulls as they try and break this two-game losing streak to keep themselves in the finals race, keep themselves in the top 8. Here is Willie Mason playing it just outside the 20. They go back to the middle of the field to link up with Frank Paul Nuasala. Jake Friend doing the honours from dummy half. Craig Fitzgibbon departing at the end of this 2009 season to continue his career in the UK. As a kick from Mitchell Pearce was a long one, and taking it back on the full back near his own 10 was David Williams, who has been enigmatic at best in recent times.
Well, after a couple of mistakes and it's hurt him too. David Williams, very slow, can't get up to play the ball. I was just about to say, after a few mistakes last week against South, that would have done his confidence a world of good. Taking that one, landed heavily on his back there. Hopefully it's just winded him.
You see Sam Perrott coming in around the legs there, and they came down on top of him, Jake Friend in particular, and as you say, it might have just winded him. Let's hope it's nothing more than that, because he has had it pretty tough in recent times, hasn't he? His handling, as you mentioned, hasn't been what it should. He doesn't look too well at all.
It's a little bit more than knocked the air out of him. He's landed pretty hard on the back of his head too, and it was the work of Perrott just underneath, just flicked his legs up at that critical moment as Jake Friend came down with some pressure. There's nothing illegal about the tackle.
Well, if you're looking for a bit of form, it's the last thing that he would have been looking for, David Williams, to be rattled up like that. His very first touch of the game. The Seagulls will play it here at their own 30. They work it through Matt Ballon going back to the right-hand side. They take it up to the 40-metre line. Anthony Watmough will play it there for Ballon, flopping back to the turf as he plays it. No call from the referee. And the kick from Jamie Lyon will go straight down the throat of Sean Kenny Dowell, who will bring it back to almost the 40-metre line. A good defensive set after a bit of a breather with the injury to Williams for the Roosters as they take it forward through Soliola.
Strange kick by Jamie Lyon too. It was stacked down the right-hand side. He kicked it back to the open side of play. It's a penalty, a defensive penalty to the Manly side. Soliola not facing square.
Not a great start in possession. And you're back at the halfway line on play number 2. And instead of coming down and asking a couple of questions of the Manly defensive line, instead they'll be backpedaling to their own goal line here. And it might be just the start that Manly needed, although, having said that, they led 12-0 in as many minutes last week against the Rabbitohs, and it was 22-12 the other way by the time we got to half-time.
He's up slow, Maddie.
He is also in trouble now. Worries for both Williams and Maddie, who has had plenty of injuries, neck and shoulder, to worry about over the last couple of seasons. Perry playing and Maddie still on the ground. Glenn Stewart back on the angle, testing out the Roosters in the middle of the field, but they have been soft at times this season. Here's Ballon firing it, coming towards Maddie. Watmough chasing through. Perrott, though, beat him to the ball and took it dead. And Anthony Watmough gets up, having perhaps a little knock there to the head of Sam Perrott. Steve Maddie, here he is again, bringing it forward. Just looked as though he fell awkwardly into the tackle there of Soliola.
I think it was a head clash, Warren. I really do. Matt Orford was able to find the gap between the players Soliola and Mitchell Pearce. Watmough coming through, but it was knocked dead by Sam Perrott. I think it was a head clash with Soliola and Watmough. Steve Maddie.
We'll wait and see how he fares. He's still being attended to by the trainer, Steve Maddie, as they take it down the middle of the park. Craig Fitzgibbon making the tackle there on Jason King. Ballon goes away to Lyon. At the back, it comes to Robertson, who steps back on the inside of Sedamata Sarr. It can be a worry defensively on that left edge, Sedamata Sarr. And they'll go to him again, no doubt. Here is a chance back in the middle of the field for Chris Bailey. He'll take it forward and play it about 4 metres out from the Roosters line. Ballon waiting with a couple of plays up his sleeve. Orford to the left-hand side, turns it back on the inside for Perry. had the muscle up to stop him. A couple of the smaller players did it through Perrott and also Friend. Back to the right-hand side. Orford rubbering. Chasing through was David Williams. But it was grabbed there by Iwi Haraki. And he's forced the ball to give the Sea Eagles 6 more tackles off another goal line dropout.
Yeah, another kick where Matt Orford finds some space. The foot was hung out by Sedamata Sarr. He did well, Haraki, to come in from his wing and clean that up because David Williams was right on the spot. Big kick from the Roosters.
It goes 55. Taken by Robertson, who gives it off to Jason King. We'll bring the back on the attack once again. 5 minutes gone, no score here at the football stadium on Super Saturday. Bailey down towards the 20. Play it back here for Ballon. Now Perry running at Fitzgibbon and Soliola. Feeney Paya was in there also. Just outside the 10 when he plays it, Perry. Now Ballon going to line. Short ball there for Glenn Stewart, who got across the line and got it down as well. And the back-to-back sets and the pressure told on the Roosters line. Stewart gets the opening try of the night and they lead 4 points to 0.
Well, something they haven't been able to do in their previous matches, and that is build pressure. 2 kicks by Matt Orford into the in-goal area. Gave them a couple of sets at the Roosters' defence, and then just an uncommitted tackle there by Sedamata Sarr on Glenn Stewart. Really shouldn't have gone through there. They were numbered up. Willie Mason took Jamie Lyon. Sedamata Sarr was standing right next to him. Lyon gave Stewart the ball, and somehow he was able to carry Sarr the 3 or 4 metres needed to get across the try line. I do like the look of the Manly back row now with Stewart, Watmo and Chris Bailey in the back row. There's footwork with all 3 of those players, and that does make them dangerous around the ruck. We see the trouble that Glenn Stewart can cause teams with his footwork, but you throw Watmo and also Chris Bailey in, and
they look pretty potent. Matt Orford with the 2 points. Conversion to make it 6 points to 0 after 6.5 minutes. Downstairs to Stuart Raper.
Lauren, it's very interesting to see that Desi Hasler's put Kieran Foran out the centres, which gives Jamie Lyons more of a role as a 5'8", which he did here to set up the first try with Stewart. Just a point on Matt. He's been to the doctor on the side under check. It is a poke in the eye. I think it's his right eye. The doctor put up 2 fingers, said how many I got. He said 3. He said you're all right to get back on.
Well, there he is. He's still shaking his head. He may not agree with you for the moment, Stuart, but he's staying out there. Here's Fitzgibbon with the restart. Go down to the goal line. And they'll bring it back through Jason King, who saw Willie Mason put the bump and the spin on. Made a good run all the way back to the 20. Written there by Lapini Paya. Just a couple of metres did Jason King before playing it.
Well, if that's the sort of attitude Sedamata Sarr has brought to the game, I'd be going down the right-hand side more often. That tackle should not have been missed. He was standing there right in front of Glenn Stewart, who just brushed past him. Just didn't want to be there, didn't want to make the tackle.
I said in the lead up to the try, he can be a liability. You have to say that on that left-hand side of the field. We saw that pretty badly, fairly graphically in a Monday night game against South Sydney at ANZ Stadium not that long ago. And a kick for Perrott. Bring it back just beyond the 10, or will he? They got to him. Orford was there. He got up to go again, Sam Perrott. He pinched a few metres. Matt Ballon tackled him again. Obviously, Perrott wasn't held, otherwise it would have been a penalty there to somebody. Haraki playing as they take it away to bring it up to their own 30-metre line. Play it there through Minicello. Hard to get used to him wearing that number 6 on his back. He was pretty solid last week, and as he said before the game, just happy to be playing back-to-back games here tonight after the wretched run of injuries he's had. Good ball from Mitchell Pearce to Kenny Dowell, who had Orbison wrapping to his outside. A Fendi got away from Perry as well. Only Robertson to beat. He backed himself and went all the way. What a run by Sean Kenny Dowell. He got a lovely ball from Mitchell Pearce, and there was a bit of room in front of him. but not 55 metres.
No, this was a great ball. Mitchell Pearce, that's a 30-metre bullet pass. But he's had some work to do. Matt High brushes off him, brushes off Josh Perry, got speed to get inside and get away, but he was showing the sideline and showed Robertson, who just couldn't make the tackle on him. Kenny Dow throws a little dummy. Ben Farah, he collided with Steve Matai. Josh Perry didn't have the speed, and he's shown the ability, Kenny Dow, this season to get across the try line. The only Rooster in double figures. That's his 12th a year. And that's come from nowhere.
He likes scoring tries against the Seagulls. 4 tries now in his last 2 and a bit games. We haven't had 10 minutes of play here as yet tonight at the football stadium. It gives Craig Fitzgibbon the chance to level it up at 6 points all. Real miscommunication defensively there, wasn't there, between Ben Farah and Steve Matai. Perhaps Matai still not at his best after that head knock. And it really opened things up when those two collided defensively, and Sean Kenny Dow just kept on going.
The fact that Mitch Orbison wrapped around the outside of Kenny Dow just put Ben Farah in 2 minds whether to come forward and make the tackle. That's where they got in trouble. Fitzgibbon.
It's a good one. It's a great one from Craig Fitzgibbon. He levels it up. That's 6 points all, and while it isn't a great crowd here tonight, boy, these Roosters fans will find their voice after a run like that, Stuart Raper.
Well, they will, and they've gone to the side of Matai. They've obviously noticed he has been injured. He was probably in on his man, but his opposite, Farah, was way too deep, and Kenny Dow just showed way too much strength, and I thought Robertson was too deep defensively to try and stop that try, but a great try, and Roosters back in the game.
We saw again in that replay some terrific vision from Mitchell Pearce, who has been outstanding in this last month and a half or so. Such a competitor. That's a given when your name's Pearce, of course. But boy, he has lived up to the hype in recent times. Friends going back to Fitzgibbon, a ball for Mason, picked off, and a good tackle. And it was Glenn Stewart who chopped him down as well. Absolutely cut him in half. Here is the Petey player bouncing into tackles. It was a Frank Paul Nuasala, in fact, playing it back at the halfway line. A kick from Friend, not a deep one. It'll bounce up here for Ben Farah. He comes to Jake Friend, who stops him just outside the 20. 6 all of Matai to give it off to Williams, who wore a shot there from Sia Soliola, and standout part of his play in recent times has been the impact he can make defensively. Soliola's come up with some big shots coming up out of this line. There he was again, looking for a shot, missing though. And they take it back into Roosters territory, yes, through Ben Farah. And now it's King who will play it at the 40-metre line.
Good ball and all tackle there, Craig Fitzgibbon.
Orford to put it up, to put some pressure on Sam Perrott. Floating back with it, made a pretty solid catch. No chasers were able to get through there and put much pressure on him, and as a result, he was able to come down with it fairly comfortably and play it just outside his own 10. Haraki now taking it up to the 20. Friend. Oh, not another one against the Roosters.
That is. It's not a play the ball.
What are they doing here tonight? The second time they've been penalised in their own territory for an incorrect play the ball. Well, I don't know about being incorrect. He got a foot on it. He looked awkward falling over. Was that a penalty?
Well, there was a little bit of a shove from Matt Ballard. That put him off balance. The problem was he was playing the ball as the shove came. I don't know. Is that a penalty? He got his foot on the ball eventually. There was a touch. They don't always have to touch the ball.
We have somebody, of course, who works with the referees in our panel tonight. Stuart Raper, what did you make of that one?
I've got to say it's a penalty. What we talk about when we do our work and looking at aspects, I know that the Ballon was over him. We talk about control and balance. And Haraki, well, he had no control or balance whatsoever there. And, you know, unfortunately, a penalty in possession's a tough one, but they have to give it.
Well, yeah, it definitely had no balance. Let's put it that way, because
he was on his way down as he tried to play it.
He was all over the shop. As we said, no points for style. Could be points here for the Seagulls instead. From right in front, Matt Orford. He gets the flags in the air. It will be a 2-point lead for the Seagulls here after 14 minutes of game 1 of 3 tonight on Super Saturday. And the Roosters fans, as you can hear, aren't too happy about the call.
Interesting decision there for the Seagulls to take the 2. In a pretty good attacking position. 6 tackles up their sleeve. There's the man that was penalised, Iraqi. Steve Maddai was receiving more attention. We're getting that eye looked at again by the training staff. Still not 100%.
Doesn't appear to be at the moment as Fitzgibbon once again gets us underway. Williams with the catch and King will spread it back towards the middle. They'll take it away from the sideline on play number 1, and it's Chris Bailey who will play it for Manly. Ballard comes to his left-hand side. Putting his foot down was Anthony Watmo, who for a moment I'm sure didn't consider that he was held. Frank Pornuasala was hanging on for grim life. And in the end, Watmo did have to play it. Maddai playing it back near the 40. Big meters in the opening plays in this set. Stewart to the line, a tip on. Eventually for Jamie Lyon, who is playing at 5'8". Kieran Foran has played plenty of time in the centres in the Toyota Cup for Manly, playing on his outside at the moment. The kick from Matty Orford. A one bouncer up for Sam Perrott, who has been terrific all season for the Seagulls in this number 1 role. This brings it back with plenty of pace, and he was able to bring it back to the 20 here before playing it for Mitch Orbison.
The fact that Kieran Foran is playing outside as Manly give it away outside Jamie Lyon. Manly give away a penalty.
Oh, I had a heart in my mouth for a moment. I think the Roosters fans did as well when the whistle blew, but unfortunately this play the ball penalty went their way.
Would make you think Ben Farrer's done a great job in the centres. It'll be interesting to see what Desi Hasler does when Brett Stewart does eventually come back, whether it's next week or the week after, whether Farrer goes into the centres, Jamie Lyon goes back to 5'8". See what happens. I think that's with Foran playing outside Jamie Lyon in attack. That's what Des Hasler is thinking. Jamie Lyon back into 5'8" when Brett Stewart does return.
Here's Friend going to Pearce. He gives it off to Nuasala to work it up towards the 40 in an awkward position there for a moment. His legs certainly parallel to the ground as Friend goes back on the inside to Fitzgibbon. Worked over the top there by Ballon with Bailey underneath. Here's Pearce. Soliola running it. Watmo. King was there. So was Matty Orford, as ever on the left hip defensively of Anthony Watmo. Now a long ball to Pearce to the line out the back minute. Shallow got a link up there with Perrott. Couldn't come up with it. Lyon toted forward. Only needs a bounce, but an awful one. Williams is there. He toted forward. He will get a bounce. And the Wolfman is back.
Wardy, that's tackle 1, mate. Just check there's no knock on from Jamie Lyon on the second kick.
It did bounce up awkwardly forward, Jamie Lyon, and seemed to come off his left hip or thereabouts. But didn't he show some speed, David Williams, when he sensed there was a chance?
Oh, he showed plenty of it, and we've seen it so far this year. This was a good play by the Roosters, and it nearly came off. Mitchell Pearce playing right to the line, but the ball goes down. The inside ball from Minicello to Perrott. Jamie Lyon, I don't know why he didn't grab this ball. Why did he try and kick that? It bounced up perfectly for him. He nearly knocked it on by accident because the ball bounced so high. It bounced into his lap and he tried to kick it with his hip. What was he doing?
Here it is again. It does.
Catch it.
It absolutely sits up. It came off his right knee. He obviously had it just in his mind. He was always going to tow it no matter where it went. It just bounced up a lot higher than he expected, and there was no dramas with Williams being offside. He'll come up with 4 points to extend this lead for the Sea Eagles, which in a moment should be 8 points.
I think Jamie Lyon thought he had to soccer it all the way to the try line.
Maybe he had visions of what the Tigers did through Tim Moulton in a very similar play, which came off a Matt Orford kick on Monday Night Football here 12 nights ago. That also led to points for the Tigers. This one does, directly on the play through Lyon and David Williams. It was looking good for the Roosters. The pass, though, not handled by Perrott, who was into a hole had he taken it. And there it is again, an awkward one. In the end, it didn't hurt Jamie Lyon or the Sea Eagles, and he was able to hoof it past the likes of Haraki and others who were chasing back there David Williams, and a piece of luck for him after being slammed to the turf and really rattled up in his first carry of the night.
No, I'd be happy with that. Showed plenty of speed. Good ability to grab the ball that was above him. Matt Orford makes no mistake. But you're right. The ball on the inside to Sam Perrott had the Manly defence in all sorts of trouble. It went to ground, and Jamie Lyon showed great skill just to get the ball on his foot first, and somehow made contact with his hip and not his hand when it popped up lovely for him.
Well, he had it under control the whole way, I'm sure he's saying to himself. Never in doubt. Always knew what he was doing. David Williams knew what he was doing when he got a chance. He finished it off very nicely. Jason King waiting for the restart. We'll see if he gets the carry, whether they mix it up. They do, in fact. They change the kick it down to Manly's left-hand side of the field because they made big meters coming out of their own end from the other side after a little spread off the restart on the previous kickoff. So we'll wait and see what they do here. It is Jason King who gets the second carry. He brings it back just beyond the 20. Here's Ballon. Gain of about 10 for Chris Bailey. 19 gone, and Manly lead the Roosters 14 points to 6. Plenty of points to begin this game tonight. Good run by Matt Ballon. He'll play it here for Watmo, who has as many carries from dummy half as any other player in the Manly lineup, including the wingers. We bring it away, of course, from dummy half invariably on the kick return. The kick, a high one. Perrott going up for it, did very nicely for it. Had a chance to make a tackle, but not once Perrott had left the ground. He was able to come down with it pretty cleanly once again. Minicello playing it at his own 20-metre line. Haraki. Nowhere to go there. Stopped by Bailey as they look to make an impact. Getting up off their line with a bit of speed here, Manly. The Roosters struggling to get back. 4 plays gone. They're still inside their own 30. They need a good run here. And Perrott going from dummy half to a scamper and get a fast play the ball. He was able to do enough to give Pearce some room, but his kick finds Williams on the full, and he brings it back to be stopped there by Stanley Wanger and also Craig Fitzgibbon.
Yeah, much of what Des Hasler spoke about before the game was the ill discipline from his team. Well, it's been a great start, 10 from 10. This is their 11th set. No mistakes from the Manly side yet. Sees them 8 points clear of the Roosters with 20 minutes into the game.
It has been their Achilles heel in recent times as Matai goes from dummy half. That in unison with some penalties they've given away, some rather cheap ones at times. Hurt them most graphically against the Rabbitohs last week. A ball from Stewart back on the inside for Jamie Lyon. Wrestled there by Fitzgibbon. Now Ballon to Orford on the last play. Grubbering once again, looking for a result. They've had a couple of them so far, with repeat sets leading up to their first try of the night, but this time Kenny Dow was able to wrap it up, and he plays it here for Sarr, who's in trouble. He popped the ball out the back for Sia Soliola, and luckily he was half expecting one and got a pass from his troubled winger. And now Fitzgibbon works it up to the 30-metre line for the Roosters.
He's become a real target, hasn't he, Anthony Watmo, for Matt Orford's short kicks. No Brett Stewart, who was the target for so long. Anthony Watmo is the one now. It's on the back of a Matt Orford short kick.
Perrott once again taking it on play 5, looking for that fast play of the ball. The kick goes down to Robertson. He could have left it, but he made the catch and will bring it back to the 20 just about it anyway. Mitchell Pearce puts paid to that. Racing down the field with Soliola in company, stopping Robertson just outside his own 10. Good tackle again by Pearce, chopping down David Williams for barely a 1-metre gain. Matai will play it here at his own 20. No drop-off in intensity defensively from the Roosters, despite the try, which puts them 8 points behind. Fast play the ball, will give Orford some room to kick from inside his 40-metre line. Went down the middle of the park, and Perrott was back there again to take it on the full. And a good set defensively. All for the Roosters. Perrott put Haraki under pressure, and racing through Kieran Foran could have absolutely drilled him and forced a turnover.
He did well in the end, Haraki, because it was still some sort of contact there from Kieran Foran. Had to turn to catch the ball. Could have ended up much more nastier than it did.
Haraki did very well to spin and catch it in the one motion because Foran was guessing the ball might have come out that way, and he was primed for a hit. Speaking of a hit, Anthony Minicello cops one here from David Williams. And the Roosters in attack will turn it over. About 30 metres out from the Manly line. The Seagulls will work it away from their own end off the back of the scrum.
Yeah, down the short side there, Minicello. There was still a Rooster outside Minicello. They'd sucked David Williams in, but he still went with the lead runner, who was Minicello. Williams doing a good job with the ball and all tackle and enough energy in it to jolt the ball free.
Well, Manly have conceded some tries on their right-hand side defensively in recent times, and the Roosters certainly see it as a deficiency because they keep going back to that left-hand side with little balls back on the inside amongst some of the speedier men, and Minicello, he gives them plenty of speed in the six jumper, doesn't he? Here is Kieran Foran. Speaking of the six, beating one tackle. Not that of Haraki, and he'll play it for Williams. Now Stewart. Brent Kite is out there, met, and a good tackle by Soliola. Getting up in his face and taking down the big man well. Orford turns it back underneath for Georgie Rose. Will play it just outside the 40. Ballard on play number 5. Nothing doing, gave it off to Kite. He linked up with Rose. Tony Orford was there looking for an offload. He didn't get one, but he'll flip back out to the left-hand side to put a kick in. Put more pressure here on Perrott and also Kenny Downs. Perrott, who came down with it. The kick was a good one right to the corner. Had Ben Farrer perhaps waited for the ball to come down and then made a tackle, he had a real chance of getting them 6 more tackles.
No, great kick, Matt Orford. Pings the Roosters in the corner. Tackle 3. Orbison gets it up over the 10.
Take it forward through Shackleton. Off to Parramatta in 2010. Friend. As they go to the left-hand side again, Pearce, a long out ball, gave it off to Sedamana Sara. Good ball for Haraki. Lyon coming quickly, recovered well, and then a ball from Haraki, who was going over the sideline. Didn't give Minicello much of a chance of coming up with it, but the quick ball to the quick men on the outside opened up the Manly defence.
Yeah, good awareness because they jammed the Roosters into that left-hand corner. They really condensed their defensive line. Mitchell Pearce was aware of that. Terrific long ball out to Sedamata Sarr. That got the Roosters on the outside of the defence. And it was only the scramble by Manly that saved the day. Seen a couple of good long balls now from Mitchell Pearce. Left, right, right, left. Doesn't matter. He can hit the mark.
Throws a lovely pass, doesn't he? And like guided missiles at times. As they win the scrum, Manly. They take it forward through Jamie Lyon. Orbison had him by the collar and had visions a couple of seconds of dragging him across the sideline, but Lyon was able to stay in the field of play. Here's Bailey. Just outside the Manly 40-metre line. 14 out from the break. 14-6. Our scoreline here on Super Saturday. Ballard goes to Orford. Gives it off to Stewart, who was able to beat first up tackle. Just there by Jake Friend, but Soliola was able to wrap him up. Matai going from dummy half. Running at Pearce and also Friend, who only just got back to the defensive line there. Play at 30 metres out, last play. They'll keep it alive through the hands. Orford has them in trouble. Good hands also from Foran. Robertson, not a bad grubber. Haraki won't bring it back. And a nice spread, an option on the last play. To keep it alive has got them 6 more tackles via a goal line dropout.
Great play, Michael Robertson there. They shifted it to the right, ran it on the last. They had the Roosters short, but Robertson had to stop and catch the ball. Therefore, they couldn't continue on their run. But he had the awareness just to dribble it into the in goal. That'll give Manly another set. Haraki there to clean it up, but David Williams flying through to make sure he didn't get out of there.
10 seconds.
Mitchell Pearce with the dropout. Not as good a one as we've seen previously from him tonight. Bounces up for Shane Rodney. Brings it back inside the 30-metre line of the Roosters. Ballard. Come to George Rose, who straightens Takes it towards the uprights. Orford waiting at the back to the right-hand side. Oh, that's where they were going as well. Little play between Brent Kite, Matt Ballin. It was headed towards Matt Orford. And it will be a penalty for an offside play. And Manly make their first mistake, would you believe, of the night. And there it is right there. They've completed 14 of 15 sets.
And you would think with a completion rate like that, the amount of ball that they've had, look at it. 8 extra sets completed compared to the Roosters. Still, they're only 8 points clear. The 8 points, the extra 2 only courtesy of a Matt Orford penalty goal.
The Roosters can hold them to 14 and perhaps score a try themselves. Try and close this gap at half-time. I think they're in it up to their eyeballs in the second half. Here's Fitzgibbon going to the line. And the tackle of Steve Maddai goes back a long, long way. It'll be play on for the moment, and that will be the 0 tackle as well, as Shackleton brings it back into Manly territory. Take it forward through Mason. Bringing the tackle to stop him. Kite was there, so was Stewart. Riley Brown is also out there now, working things from dummy half as Pearce gives it on the inside for Soliola. He takes it inside the Manly 30. Bit of a roll on for the Roosters until they lost their way from dummy half, and Brown eventually found the man he was looking for. Good tackle by Watmough on Fitzgibbon. Here's Pearce turning it back underneath for Wanger, who fires it out the back. Quickly it comes from Fitzgibbon. Orbison, Kenny Downs thinking about try number 2. Had to come away from the sideline as they slid across in cover. And they go back to the middle now. Pearce, a kick. He just had to evade the fingertips there of Kieran Foran, but he made a lovely catch, didn't he, that young number 6.
I'll tell you what, if that ball isn't taken by Kieran Foran, Jamie Lyon was the only player outside him. Mitchell Pearce, if that bounces, that anything could have happened on the back of that. Plenty of Roosters coming through.
Here's Stewart slipping over as he comes to the defence of the Roosters inside his own 40. Rodney taking it towards the halfway line. Half an hour gone. Orford with his kick. Once again goes right down the middle of the field. No threat of a 40-20 so far tonight from either team. Jake Friend coming from the field, of course, with Riley Brown out there now, and Haraki will take it away from dummy half for the Roosters.
Well, they get to their kick, the Manly Seagulls again, so it's 15 from 16. It is a conservative style of football. You just wonder if Des Hasler, on the back of a mistake-ridden month, really, from the Manly side, whether his instructions have been that. Just make sure you get to the 5th tackle and get a kick away. Things will happen on the back of it, but not too much, really, in this first half.
You take away the bounce of the ball, which Manly have been talking about going against them in recent times. It certainly helped them in the try by Williams. There's nothing in this game. The kick bounces in behind David Williams now, who thought it was going perhaps out on the full. He had to play out, and as a result, he's tackled here just outside his own 10.
Well, he had no idea where that ball was in, David Williams. He didn't know whether it was going out or where it was. Robertson.
Good dummy. Into some space as well, coming towards Perrott. Dummying again to nobody. Perrott couldn't make the tackle. Eventually he does, as Ben Farrer gets there. He plays it 35 metres out. A bit of counter-attack from the Manly fullback. Here's Orford going to the line, giving it to Kieran Foran. They'll do well to hang on defensively here, the Roosters. Lyon giving it back to underneath for Rodney. He got away from the Mason tackle, but not that of Wanger. He's 12 metres out. Here's Orford. Watmough, first man play. Mattai's grubber wasn't a great one as far as a try-scoring chance is concerned, but it will give them 6 more tackles.
It'll give them another set, but it wasn't great, and they weren't aware of it. The outside men, Ben Farrer was deep looking for the pass. Therefore, he was little chance. Here's Robertson breaking through a couple of tackles, throws to dummy, gets into some space. And that run has earned Manly the field position and a repeat set.
Here's Maddai again, taking it to the line. He had Robertson and also Farrer on his outside, but they were well marked. And the kick was a good one. give them 6 more via this goal line dropout once again from Mitchell Pearce. Brent Kite bringing it back. To be stopped there by Riley Brown and also Shackleton. He brings it back to almost the 20-metre line as well. Ballon giving it off for Perry. And cut it towards the uprights to give them an option either side. Orford to the left-hand side. For and out to the right-hand side. They go towards him now. Stewart is out there running towards Sedamanasa, who made a good tackle on Glenn Stewart. No decision to make right there. It was one-on-one and he had to come up with it. Here's Rodney. They play it 5 metres out. The tackle of Payer. Come to the left-hand side from Lyon to Orford, who tries them on himself. Took them on, was stopped only a couple of metres out there by Soliola. Last play, Watmo floating across. He links up with Ballon. He grubbers. This one will be too big, or will it? Williams got there, but we need to check the put down because he might have bounced it.
Yeah, I think you're right, Boz. I think he got there in time. The ball
When you get tackled,
popped
mate,
up high for him.
Play it where you are. Don't go to the side.
But you can tell by the body language from David Williams that it's not going to be a try. Watmo danced across the field, got it to Matt Ballon, who puts the kick in. Players are onside. The ball was going dead for all money. Williams came from absolutely nowhere, gets a good play on the ball. No.
His hand was still thereabouts for a long way. Well, the last frame doesn't help his cause, but the hand stays on the ball for a long way here. Of course, we've seen in this reinterpretation of the put down in 2009 some similar ones come up as green lights.
Yeah, let's have a look at it from this angle again. You're right, the hand does stay there for a long time, but I don't think that right hand is on the ball when it hits the ground. Benefit of the doubt.
We'll wait and see, of course. Video refereeing calls have been the hottest topic in the game in recent times. Here's one for Chris Ward to adjudicate on. He does say benefit of the doubt and try to David Williams. You couldn't be certain given the last frame was obscured with his right hand from both angles. You couldn't see it clearly. The fact that his hand was on the ball on the way down for a long, long way has convinced the referee to say benefit of the doubt. I'm happy with it. So was David Williams, his second try of the night.
Yeah, Watmo drifting across the field looking for someone. Ballon's the one that puts the kick in this time. Williams just came from nowhere. I think the Roosters players, they assumed that it was going to beat everyone over the dead ball line. It's dangerous when you assume things. The ball sat up. He didn't put that down. Benefit of the doubt. Anyway,
it looks different, doesn't it, between...
He knows he didn't score it. He got up shaking his head.
Oh, he did. That he did. But when you play it at normal speed and then slow it down frame by frame...
Well, the hand was in there. Yeah, look, the hand was on the ball a long time. I know it was, but I've got my doubts that it was there when the ball touched the ground.
It's a big call in the context of this game, perhaps in the context of Manly's season, because Matty Orford converts to make it 22 points to 6, 5 out from half-time. Stuart, what do you make of that one? Yes or no?
I think better the doubt, that's what it's there for if there's not too sure. I do think that right hand might have stayed on the ball. Didn't look great, but VOD's fine for me. I've got to give a rap to Matty Ballon. You know, Des Hasler must have a lot of faith in him. Usually, most sides, they take their hooker off just before half-time, bring him on the end of the game. He stays a lot of time on the field, and you know, he's been playing some good football for them throughout the season.
Well, that's looking more respectable now, that scoreline for Manly, considering the amount of possession they've had and the fact that they've got through all but one of their sets. 4 repeat sets. They've had really all the field position and all the pressure.
Nowadays, they get in the right-hand side through Glenn Stewart. They've forced 4 goal line dropouts to this point of the first half. Rodney now. Bringing it back up towards the halfway line. They play it here for Ballon. A little raid down the short side. Perhaps instead they kick it through Jamie Lyon. He gets it in over the head of Sam Perrott, who goes back to pick it up in his own in-goal area. Was able to get past Matt Orford, but not Jamie Lyon, the man who put the kick in. He'll play at Perrott just outside his own 10. Sean Kenny down now. Standing in the tackle, giving it off to Haraki, who's been put under pressure a couple of times now. Inside his own 20. He's made a couple of good plays as well. Paya running hard at them, but Kieran Ford talking about his defence, how impressive he has been for a young player coming to the top grade in our pre-game show. And he showed right there, making a good tackle on Lapini Paya, just how solid he is.
Yeah, look, he's playing outside Jamie Lyon in attack, but he's playing inside Jamie Lyon in defence. And there's plenty of confidence in Kieran Ford's defence. Craig Fitzgibbon gets a rush kick in. It goes along the ground and straight to Robertson, who's brings the ball back over the 20, met by a number of Roosters players.
Matty Orford from dummy half, giving it off to David Williams. 2 tries for David Williams, 1 to Glenn Stewart. 3 tries to 1 and a 14-point lead. They're in good shape here, the Sea Eagles. Orford played from just outside 40-metre line. They go to Watmo, wrapping towards this left-hand side of the field. Stopped there by Mitchell Pearce again. Maddai doesn't mind a dummy half run himself. Got a fast play the ball from Watmo, who usually produces one. And he went 15 metres as well, Maddai. Now Lyon. His kick will put some pressure on Haraki, who comes down. A good catch. There were plenty of chasers there in white jumpers, but he had eyes only for the ball and came down with it fairly securely. Now Sedimata Sarr to work it up towards the 30-metre line. Play it for Minicello. He goes from Perrott away to Paya, but up in his face was the man described as the DNA freak, Anthony Watmo. He certainly has been playing like a freak, hasn't he, in the second half of the season. Willie Mason. Play it here for Riley Brown inside their own 30-metre line. Just 2 plays left, and Pearce will slip over and get caught with the ball on the last thing they wanted there. Fitzgibbon from inside the 30, though. We know how far he can hoof it. Or coming back, Robertson got mixed up there with Farah, and it will be a knock-on against the Sea Eagles. Well, a chance inside the final 60 seconds for the Roosters to close this 14-point gap. Robertson came across, never had it securely. They have said that was a knock-on.
Well, I don't know. I don't know whether it's a knock-on, but Michael Robertson, he gave himself up. Ben Farah gave him plenty of room. The kick angled towards the sideline, but Farah did a good job just to stay out of it and let his fullback make a play at the ball, because Robertson was coming forward, or at least across the field. You always leave it for the man coming forward. Farah moving backwards towards the ball.
Here's Sarr giving it to Perrott. They keep going through Minicello away to Haraki, who puts a kick in on tackle number 1. And they've got seconds up their sleeve, and Manly will use plenty of them here before the goal line dropout has to come. I know they were thinking about that on play number 1, though, in that position with a full set of 6 to come.
No, I think Haraki had run himself out of room and had no other option. He was either into touch or put his foot to the ball.
15 seconds remaining in this first half, and now they are back on the halfway line. It's a couple of times in this first half, and Haraki has run himself to the sideline to the point that he had to just kick it or fire it back on the inside with a pass. It hasn't helped the Roosters on either occasion. Now Pearce comes out the back. He finds Orbison as the siren sounds, looking for an option. Kenny Dow is back there. Oh boy, might have been a good thing he put the ball out of play as well. You can see that in the intent
of how the game's gone. While they haven't been clinical inside the 20 of the Roosters, they've earned themselves 4 repeat sets. which is building pressure, and that's what they haven't been able to do in the past.
No, of course, pressure came pretty quickly for the Roosters. Some back-to-back sets off goal line dropouts helped the Seagulls score their first try, and it came through Glenn Stewart. It was a fairly soft piece of defence, it has to be said. First up by Sidamata Sarr to let Stewart just stroll through the line like that.
I think the Roosters could have been in for a long night. That's what I was thinking when they scored this try, because that Glenn Stewart should have been tackled by Sidamata Sarr. Really, there was no hole there for Glenn Stewart to run through. He just bullied his way past Sidamata Sarr to earn them their first try. But then it was a great pass from Mitchell Pearce. A 30-metre bullet pass put Sean Kenny-Dowell into some space. Mitch Orbison coming around, I think, confused the Manly defenders. He looked like he was going to step back on the inside of Michael Robertson, stayed on the sideline, was able to break the tackle. Sean Kenny-Dowell scores try number 12 for the season.
It was a terrific try, of course. That made it 6 points off the back of Craig Fitzgibbon's sideline conversion. Then a play which looked good for a moment for the Sydney Roosters until the ball went to ground off the inside pass. Jamie Lyon couldn't come up with a cleanly toted forward a second time off his knee. David Williams put a boot on it. He was able to get the bounce he wanted, and that gave the Seagulls a lead. They extended that lead just before half-time with David Williams, the recipient of a nice grubber kick off Matt Ballin. And while there was some doubt about the put-down, they came up with the benefit of the doubt in the video ref's box. And that made it 20 points to 6 at the break.
Let's hope that it's not a try like that that decides the grand final. Anyway, David Williams was pretty sure when he got up that he didn't score the try, but it was given anyway, and we've seen a number of those given benefit of the doubt. They have mixed their kicking game up well, Manly. Matt Ballin putting that one in, and I think Jamie Lyon and Matt Orford's kicking games have been very good in this first half.
David Williams a double. Glenn Stewart, of course, a lone try. Matty Orford has kicked 4 from 4, most of them from fairly close range. Kenny-Dowell, of course, the lone try scorer for the Roosters, and Craig has given a terrific conversion from the sideline. One facet of play, a fairly simple facet of play, which really hurt the Roosters in that first 40 minutes was 2 penalties going against them for incorrect play the balls. I mean, you rarely see one these days in a game. To see 2 against the same team in the first half was mind-boggling.
Well, Haraki got to his feet. He was just off balance. Soliola gave a penalty away earlier. He was facing sideways. He got up. We didn't see the play the ball, but he got up and played the ball at the sideline. So that one was warranted. I think Haraki was a little hard done by.
I think you might have been right. Although, as Stuart Raper said, of course, as part of the referee's coaching panel, that well, you have to have some balance in playing the ball, and there is the play the ball there by Soliola.
That's a penalty.
I guess so, but you know, as has been debated in recent times, the reason for facing squarely in the play of the ball in the old days was because the marker could strike for the ball. Well, the marker can't strike for the ball anymore, which negates the need, I guess, to play the ball facing your opponent's goal line.
Well, until we change the rules, that is a penalty, boss.
That is true.
Until that rule is scratched off,
yes, that is a penalty.
He was facing the sideline.
It'll stay that way for the time being, of course, in 2009. Don't forget, of course, about our midweek programs and our old tactics on Tuesday night, live at 8:30 p.m. with Andy Raymond, Michael Hagan, and Brett Kamali, the Bulldog halfback himself, just rolling on with his team in this premiership of 2009. Another good win last night in Townsville against the North Queensland Cowboys. And on Wednesday night, Smith, Daly, Freeman and Belcher will be joined by the Panthers back rower. Trent Waterhouse will also have the final round of the Props Pentathlon featuring Carl Webb, who, boy, talking about Carl Webb, what a collision last night with Jared Hickey in that game against the Bulldogs. Carl Webb came out of it okay. Don't know about Jared Hickey, though. That's live Wednesday night, 7:30. We might talk about that with Carl Webb, of course, in the Props Pentathlon this Wednesday on NRL on Fox. Now, from TAB Sportsbet, some betting live in the run. Gamble responsibly, of course, but you can bet 133-390. You have to bet via the phones, of course, if you want to bet in the run. And the line, there is no head-to-head price at half-time, but the line is 22.5. So at 14 in arrears, the Roosters basically getting 8.5 start in this second half. 22.5 is the line, and the Seagulls there at minus 22.5. To win by 23, they are $1.80 at the moment. 20 points to 6 it is. We'll take a break and come back with the live action of the second half in just a moment. Stick around, a lot more to come tonight on Super Saturday. It's still half-time here at the Sydney Football Stadium, and we lead the Roosters 20 points to 6, 3 tries to 1. in the first half. The Wolfman grabbing a double. The second of them going to the video referee, who said benefit of the doubt. It could be vital by full time. In the meantime, let's go downstairs to Stuart Raper, who has a couple of special guests with him. Stuart.
Yeah, Mark, not a great first half. Got dominated by a pretty strong Manly forward pack.
Yeah, that's right. They had a bit of a better kicking game and returned the ball a bit better than us. But I'm sure we'll rectify that in the second half.
And yourself, how's your injury going? Are you going to see you at the end of the year or not?
No, you won't, mate. It's just slow. Had the condoplasty surgery on my left knee, so I've got another 8 weeks before I can run, so might be a while.
All right, thanks, mate. Got Braith and Asta. Braith, Freddie obviously wasn't real happy at half-time. What was said?
Yeah, he was a bit disappointed. He thought our intensity was down. He wants us to pick it up in the second half. He thinks our speed of line can be better as well. We just looked a bit sluggish out there. We weren't playing direct, and we've just got to get some organisation. It's
very hard on Anthony Michello, isn't it? You need a bit more direction out there. Think you'll put Ben Jones on early?
Yeah, I think it is hard for Mini, especially got to make sure that Piercy doesn't get tackled on the fourth tackle too, because we've got no kicker on the fifth. So, yeah, Benny Jones will probably get out there and help him out soon.
All right, thanks very much, mate.
Cheers,
We'll wait and see if Brad Fittler does make that change at some stage in the halves in this second half. There's Anthony Minicello waiting for the all clear, which Craig Fitzgibbon gets to get us back underway in this second half. The Seagulls by 14, looking to move into outright fifth position with a victory here tonight. And then they'll wait and see what happens with other results, of course, with the Panthers and the Tigers in front of them in that bottom half of the top 8, still to play this weekend. Here's Stewart as the Seagulls go to the right-hand side. They'll play it here, almost back at their own 40-metre line. Line. Playing it for Ballon to give it off to Brent Kite. Stopped there by Riley Brown and also Craig Fitzgibbon. Here's Orford going to the line and showing it and almost getting away from Sia Soliola as well. Glenn Stewart are concerned behind the line. A couple of head knocks so far in this game, the Seagulls. The kick will put them under pressure. Good catch by Iwi Haraki. It came down with it. There was a Seagull who hit the deck chasing through, but the officials say there was nothing wrong with the contact that ended up with that Seagull hitting the deck.
Oh, I think that would have made it even more difficult for Haraki, who showed great confidence. Had his eyes only on the ball there, leapt in between 3 or 4 players to take that one. Terrific work by the young bloke, only playing his 3rd game in the NRL.
Shane Shackleton carries it. Plenty of vigour beyond the 30-metre line. Back to the short side. Riley Brown giving it off there. Sedamata Sarr will play it back near the halfway line. Up against the sideline, though, on the last play. It puts Mitchell Pearce under pressure. You realise there was some urgency needed. His kick was a good one. Down to Robertson up against the sideline. The fullback did well to get to it on the full. And David Williams brings it back out to almost the 30-metre line. Robertson from dummy half, grabbed there by Fitzgibbon, but not before he got the ball away. Soliola, really rattling Ben Farrer there. Can't he hit Soliola?
He's rattled more blokes than anyone, I reckon, this year. For consistency, Soliola, Manly will get a penalty. Soliola
Mitchell Pearce
has probably been the best hitter all season. We've done a lot of games where you can hear the impact. Soliola, we're a long way from the action here at the Sydney Football Stadium, but there's the strip that earns Manly the penalty.
Hard to argue against that, seeing that head-on replay of Mitchell Pearce stripping the ball out there, and as a result, come on the attack, and it's Steve Maddai who taps it to give it to Josh Perry, who ran both Orbison and Pearce and picked up some good metres as a result. Watmo to Warford, now to Kite, who straightens. Lapini Paya had his hands full there and needed Shackleton to stop him in the end. Ballon showing it a couple of times, giving it back on the inside for Stewart. He's okay again. He'll play it just inside the Roosters 10. They go quickly from Ballon, Perry, and it was Soliola, the bell ringer himself, who absolutely drilled Josh Perry, and he's sick. Orford goes to Matai. He was sweating on another one and delivered. Here's Ballon on the last play. They will chip it towards the corner, out towards Williams. It'll be touched by the Wolfman, perhaps knocked on in goal, and the Roosters will bring it back out to their own 20. But take a look again at the contact between Soliola and Perry.
Oh, what about it? That's great to watch, isn't it? Josh Perry, who took the ball off the tap, made a good dent in the Roosters' defensive line, ran at Mitch Orbison and Mitchell Pearce, but then Soliola, after putting one on in an earlier set, just absolutely cut him in half.
Do you reckon there aren't a few nervous types playing in the UK Super League saying, are we going to cop that next year?
Hasn't he made a handful of of coming in and playing in the back row? He's just moved one in defensively. He doesn't have to worry about reading defence. He just comes up with some hits and has done it all year.
Here he is with the ball in his hands. For one of the rare times that I can remember, you give somebody a rap and they actually deliver, because usually it goes the other way. In a matter of seconds, the old curse comes into play. Ben Farah on the kick return for the Seagulls, and they've got them in good field position here defensively, the Roosters, in this set of 6. Kieran Foran playing it just outside his own 10-metre line, and as Shane Rodney takes it to the 20, they've used up 3 plays to bring it back to that point. Ballon from dummy half, looking for Watmo. There he is again on that left-hand side, trying to sneak back in between the markers and the A defender on that defensive edge. Now Brent Kite fires a long ball off the hand of Ben Farah. Player as the call, it must have come off his knee, said the sideline official. Had a very good look at it and then came in to bark a few instructions as well. Orford's kick back towards the sideline. Perrott watching it. Matty Orford's kick will find the sideline about a metre out from the corner post. They recovered well after the Roosters had done them off their own kick. They have them deep inside their own 20, but here they are, the Roosters, about to get the scrum feed and have to work it away 10 out from their own line.
They just settled things down, Matt Orford, finding touch. Gives everyone a chance to take a breath.
If they'd been able to hang on, not concede that try to David Williams off the Matt Ballon grubber, 5 out from the break, they'd have been right in this. And they still may well put themselves back in it, but 14 down against the Seagulls, the defending premiers. As good as they are defensively usually, although in recent times they've given up an average of 24 points a game, which is unlike Manly. They're sitting about trying to rectify that here tonight. They've limited the Roosters to just 6 to this point of the game. Shackleton, the player just outside the 30-metre line. They go from dummy half through Perrott, who made a good run and almost got away from them. In the end, it was Matt Ballon who hung on to him. Now Setamata Sarr putting a kick in, jumping in a dummy half and supplying a kick to Farah, who'll be stopped just inside his own 20.
Those 3 plays there, the Roosters looked like they were going to go right because they had Manly short. Manly on the left-hand side was short then, and 3 times they didn't know what they were doing.
Now Fitzgibbon making a tackle on Anthony Watmo. They've gone left, the Roosters, in the first half, trying to expose this right side of the Manly defensive line. And wait and see if they get a chance what they do at Manly's end of the field. The kick from Jamie Lyon, who's put plenty of them in tonight, goes down to Sean Kenny Dow, playing on the right wing. Hiri Haraki occupying the left. And he'll play it here just inside his own 20.
We said it at half-time, they have mixed their kicking game up well tonight, the Roosters. Matt Orford has been used when they're close to the line, getting repeat sets, but Jamie Lyon primarily has been putting in the long ones and finding space on plenty of occasions.
There he is waiting defensively on the right-hand side of the field, down the short side as they work it back to the middle of the field, the Roosters. Shackleton to play it. It goes from Brown. What a new Asala, also good ball for Fitzgibbon as well. And had the veteran come up with that, well, he had it have cracked the line. They'd have had a fast play the ball off the back of it.
I'll tell you what, they were short again. They were short again on the left. There's Watmo, there's Orford. Mattai's outside him, but there was a couple of Roosters too waiting to see if Fitzgibbon poked his head through that hole. some work on one of the Roosters, Willie Mason.
Matt Orford with the scrum feed. 8.5 gone. Still no change to our halftime scoreline on Super Saturday. Don't forget, of course, the Eels and the Warriors in action tonight, along with the Raiders at home to the Dragons. Very mild day, very mild day for August here in Sydney today. I wonder what it's going to be like down in Canberra by the time they get the kick-off at 7:30. Perry playing it just inside the Roosters 20. Now Orford goes out the back from Lyon. It comes to Robertson, who was under pressure there from Minicello, who was jamming in. As a result, he had to spin away from the contact and was stopped by Shackleton. Now Orford, grubbering again, chasing through as Matai. Kenny Dow put a kick in, which was like an old-fashioned soccer cross to the penalty box for the striker. It didn't go out of play, and luckily, nobody was pushing up on the right-hand side of the field for Manly.
Nice kick by Matt Orford. Sean Kenny-Dow caught in two minds there. It's not often you find yourself in your own in-goal area trying to kick the ball as far as you can. I think Kenny-Dow should have done that, but it was a half-hearted effort and could have been trouble out here on the right-hand side.
Well, bring it back through Kite. They've forced plenty of goal line dropouts. 5 now in the game that Manly have forced. 2 of them led to their first try of the night all the way back in the 6th minute of the game. Lyon coming wider still to Stewart, who had Foran coming with him. They almost collided in the end. Might have helped Stewart just about break the Roosters' defensive line. Lyon going to Kite, who lost the ball, stripped one-on-one by Riley Brown it was. And the referee said not only was it a one-on-one strip, it wasn't knocked on. As a result, the Roosters have it.
He has that running action, Brent Kite, where he leans forward into the tackle. Riley Brown was able to get up underneath him. There he is, Brent Kite. The ball in one arm. And Riley Brown did a great job to attack the ball. Sars dropped that.
That was a loose carry. He had the ball up around the shoulder looking for an offload, and he's put them back under pressure straight away. Foran playing it for Watmo, who has been well contained to this point of the game. Ballon from dummy half goes to Rodney, who had to wait for the ball. And he wrestled with the ground there by Frank Paul Nuasala, a couple of metres out from the Roosters uprights. Watmo back on the inside from Matty Orford. How many times do we see that play against the Tigers here just 2 rounds ago? They'll go from dummy half. There's no way through there for Matt Ballon, and he will play it here on play number 5 back to Watmo. He goes to Orford. They're spread to the right-hand side. Another grubber. Glenn Stewart in a contest. Got a hand on the ball, but knocked it on. He was one-on-one there with Ben Jones, who's only fresh on the field. And in the end, Jones did enough to force a mistake from Stewart as he tried the put-down.
Well, Orford will be happy with the fact that he's getting the ball between the line tonight. Didn't happen against the Tigers. Found feet against South Sydney last week.
Well, it has been a different story here tonight against the Roosters. A much better short kicking game from the Sea Eagles in general. Brown now goes to Nuasala, who had Fitzgibbon again coming with him. This time he hung on to it. He was stopped well by Rodney and also Watman. They keep going to the right-hand side. Another inside ball. Put down again by Minicello. Orford picked it up, and he will run 70 metres to extend the scoreline for the Sea Eagles. The second time in the game as Brett Stewart watches on from the bench. He's happy, and so are his on-field teammates, because again the Sea Eagles score points of a Roosters mistake.
Yeah, the second time, as you said, in the game where a Roosters inside pass has gone to ground. This time Anthony Minicello spills it, and there might have been a half an opportunity for Minicello to sneak his way through the Manly defence there. Orford swoops on the ball, and with no Roosters in sight, he doesn't have to work too hard to score this one. Shackleton, Perrott there in the end. But a couple of long-range efforts from Manly off Rooster errors.
Well, they were talking about luck, or the lack of it, and the losses to the Tigers and also the Rabbitohs. You have to make your own luck, and they've done that with some good defensive pressure tonight. Made the Roosters try and put on some special plays to break the line. They haven't been able to do that, or do them successfully, and as a result, the balls hit the deck, and they come up with 2 tries and 12 points, it should be. This kick sort of come from Jamie Lyon as a result.
That was a good set by the Roosters too. It was Soliola, then Nuasala. They'd bent the defensive line of Manly, who were still backpedaling when Mitchell Pearce went to the line there with Minicello back on the inside.
Well, the kick is a good one from Jamie Lyon and makes it 26-6. So we go downstairs to Stuart Draper.
Well, if Manly want any chance of regaining their crown, they have to maintain a strong defensive foundation, something they haven't really done in the last few weeks. Just tonight you can tell they're enthusiastic, they're talking, they're shutting the gate on the inside, and defensively they've been very strong, and that's something that Desi Hasler will be very pleased on.
That he will. They're handling 25 completed sets from 30 possessions so far in the game. Just about perfect at half-time. And it certainly helped them. And if they can go on the job here, it could be very important, of course. The for and against shaping up as being a big factor in deciding those spots from 5 through to 8 in the bottom half of the final series in week 1 at least. As Barron gets out of dummy half, he goes a long way, draws and passes for Robertson, and Manly are running right now. They've gone back to back, and it could be a big scoreline we're looking at here tonight.
Well, you just mentioned the points differential. The for and against for the top 8. Manly was sitting on 24 points. Before this game, Ballon in traffic there. There was a host of Roosters players offside. He pushed past them, found himself in open space, did a good job to draw Sam Perrott and put his fullback away. As you said, was Manly will jump the Panthers. The Panthers still to play this weekend. Ballon striding out. Quick play the ball from Manly gave Ballon that opportunity. 2 tries in the matter of minutes.
Well, we saw what they did to the Newcastle Knights, of course. And they were given plenty of chances in their most recent victory before going on the 2-game losing streak. And they're back tonight. Unbelievable last 24 minutes or so if they were to lose this one from 32-6. Remembering, of course, the exact scoreline it was between the Warriors and the Panthers not that long ago, which ended up in the Golden Point draw.
It was 32-6.
You can get set with me if you're backing the draw from this point on.
It won't be
tonight.
Happening. It won't be happening in the football stadium tonight. Manly look like they've got more in them.
Well, they've got the set now, haven't they? 26-point lead as they get a short-ish kickoff, and it goes down to Glenn Stewart, who will play it here just outside his own 20. Here's Jason King. Back out there now for Desi Hasler. He came into this game Manly with a for and against of plus 18. The Tigers on the same points, 24, plus 27. And the Cowboys, losers last night, of course, against the Bulldogs in Townsville, were plus 80. And the Panthers, courtesy of that draw against the Warriors, on the odd point on 25 competition points, and that could be the determining factor for them as opposed to for and against. Orford's kick goes down to Sean Kenny Dow, who comes back to the middle of the field via the hands this time as opposed to the boot which he supplied last time. A heart-stopping moment for Roosters fans. Try and work it away from their own end, the Roosters, but the game has got away from them. 2 quick tries in the space of 3 minutes. And try to Michael Robertson making it 7 tries in his last 5 games against the Sydney Roosters. Here he is. Sedamata Saar playing it back the 40-metre line. Shackleton hit there. A good tackle by Kite. And also King. Mitchell Pearce. Across the 40-metre line, putting a kick in. Not a bad one on. Just too wide for SKD. Who, had he got it, would have been off and running, looking for his second try of the night.
Yeah, Ben Farron dropped back. That meant the pass or the short kick across field was the option for Mitchell Pearce. He decided to take him on. There's the Roosters injured players, and there's a host of them. We spoke to Mark O'Mealy and Braithen Astor. There's Nate Miles.
He will be back on deck to see out the remainder of the 2006 season. They've had their troubles with injuries, and of course we spoke to Mark O'Mealy and also Braithen Astor with Stuart Raper, so he came back out for the second half. And Braithen Astor's loss was a big one, but in his absence, Mitchell Pearce has really stood up in this back half of the season. So we'll take a look at the run home for both these teams. Of course, the Seagulls will move on to take on the Storm as they go on the attack here. They'll turn it over. They might get the ball back. In fact, it will be a knock-on forward pass, if you like, against the Seagulls, and the Roosters will get it from the scrum field. Manly will take on the Melbourne Storm. And then we'll take on the Sharks in the second last round. Their second last home game of the season before they meet the Titans in round 26 at Brookvale, and that could be a massive game by the time we get there to round 26.
Well, it could be.
You'll see it, of course, live on Fox Sports at 7:30 on our final Super Saturday of the season.
And depending on what happens with Melbourne and the Titans over the remaining 3 weeks, it could be the precursor to the first semi-final. It could be 4 playing 5 again.
You're exactly right. Here is Fitzgibbon playing it at the halfway line. Jumping out of dummy half was Jake Friend. He was stopped in a hurry, wasn't he, when he met Bailey and also King. Fitzgibbon now going to Nuasala, walking it up to the 30-metre line. A ball out the back puts Friend under pressure. A tap back for Pearce. He flipped it on for Shackleton, and they'll play it on the last, just outside the Manly 30. Friend going back to Pearce. Will put it up in the air. Some pressure here on Williams, who never went up for it. They tapped it backwards. Ben Jones came up, and then he fired the ball forward, back on the inside. Orford came up with it. Robertson got away from Pearce's tackle, and then he was shut down again by that man Soliola. Had he been able to link up on his left-hand side with the likes of Matai and Farah, there were some big meters coming up for Manly on the counter-attack.
Yeah, there was plenty of open space there. Soliola coming in and doing a job. There he is again, Soliola. He was that red and white and blue jersey just flying across your screen there. A mistake, Manly. One of their few tonight.
And it was Matai, who loves a dummy half scamper, trying to pick it up too quickly and get going in the same breath, and wasn't able to do it. And as a result, the Roosters will come back on the attack. A full set of 6 here. It's close to the Manly line for one of the few times in a long time in this game, after they had a few chances early on and converted one, albeit a long-range one from Sean Kenny-Dow. For the most part, Manly have controlled where they've given the Roosters the ball in this game. Here they are. You can see tackle in the opposing 20 for the game to this point. Manly 24 tackles in the Roosters 20. The Roosters just 2. That'll be 3 right there. And Nuasala playing the ball. Here is Soliola. Only about 5 minutes out when he plays it here. Friend at dummy half, looking for somebody. Did a full 360 until he linked up with Nuasala, who tried to pop a pass. Well, what was he doing there? It's a good thing the Roosters are out of contention, and Brad Fittler knows his future, which is not here at Bondi Junction as far as coaching is concerned, because the coach on the edge might be coming through the glass after a play like that.
I think if he was going to do it, he would have done it by now.
Yes. A long time before this point. Farah playing it. For Bailey. For thought. He pops the ball out the back, picked up by Kieran Foran. Hasn't had too many chances tonight, Foran, to show what he can do in attack. But he's a gamer, and we'll wait and see if he's a permanent here now in this Manly side as they gear up for this finals campaign.
Now, I've got a feeling that with Jamie Lyon, as we said, good pressure there from the Roosters. Jamie Lyon playing inside and doing most of the kicking. Caught on the 5th tackle, Matt Orford.
He's trying to get rid of it.
They've done very well there. Sam Perrott and also Jake Friend getting up in the Manly captain's face, putting him under pressure. As a result, they've got a result. Soliola works it forward to play it just outside the Manly 40.
I think Kieran Foran is just filling a hole until we see the return of Brett Stewart. After what we've seen tonight.
You'd imagine so with Jamie Lyon playing as the 5'8" for the most part. And, well, this win tonight, perhaps it will change. Desi Hasler's thinking about Stewart's return. Been saying round 25 for some time. Had they lost here tonight, they might have advanced that date as the Roosters go to the left-hand side. I would think with that trip to Olympic Park next week, they might just wait the extra week and bring him back against the Sharks on home territory in round 25. And might Brett Stewart get a round of applause when he hits the deck again in that game, perhaps, for the Seagulls. Here's Matty Orford galloping once again. He's covered some territory tonight. Had a chance to go a long, long way there until he was wrapped up by Stanley Wanger just outside his own 20. Matai. Again, some metres from dummy half. Lestrange is out there. The ball for Anthony Watmo's had to wait a long time to get a chance in this game. Lestrange showing it. The trademark fashion of his. Exaggerated dummy of the ball he shows. What a factor he was in their victory last year. The ball back on the inside from Orford for Farah. Grabbed only just. And a good tackle, though, by Jones. They go to the air. They'll put the ball up through line. He taps it back. King came down. And there is Foran reaching out, thinking about a double movement. It's exactly what it would have been. And he'd been able to plant the ball on the line. Instead, he's tackled half a metre short.
And he shaped to pass the ball. He had Anthony Watmo on the inside, Kieran Foran. Jamie Lyon did a particularly good job to outleap the Roosters and tap the ball back. Here's the kick. Lyon knocks it back. Jason King picks it up to Foran. He looked at Anthony Watmo, who was unmarked on his outside, decided not to give it, and was pulled down short.
A tricky pass from Jake Friend in between defenders and the man playing the ball for Anthony Minicello. Stanley Wanger works it up towards the 40. Last tackle here for the Roosters, and Friend will give it to Pearce. Rubbering this time for either himself or Fitzgibbon. Matty Orford did well to tap it backwards. In the end, though, it came back to Jake Friend, who got a kick on it. And it set up eventually there for Jamie Lyon to save the day for Manly just outside his own 20.
Good play there, Jamie Lyon. A diving catch in the outfield. Williams out of dummy half. Secures Manly a few metres.
Watmo down the middle of the park, met there by Saar and also Nuasala. The ball came out the back of the tackle, and they'll play it here through Chris Bailey. Here's Matai giving it to Stewart to work at 45 metres out from the Roosters line. 32-6 it is. Now a chip in behind them from Jamie Lyon, and set up and put. It was running through. Anthony Minicello was under pressure. He couldn't come up with the ball. I was waiting for Sam Perrott to join the play, but it was Minicello back there in his old role, coming up with it. Hit there as he lost the ball by Farah and also Lyon. There will be 6 more tackles here for the Seagulls. Braithen Astor, of course, this week will be joining Stuart Raper and Andy Raymond on NRL Tactics. Looking forward to hearing Braith's comments on Tactics this week.
Heads in. Feed.
Well, unaccustomed, Minnie, at being at the back, Orford off the back of the scrum.
Nearly 5 minutes out when Farah has stopped here by Minicello. He'll play it for Robertson. Goes to Orford. Comes across to Bailey. Ball back on the inside there for Stewart, who stepped away from Friend and then grabbed by Wenger, who needed some help from Fitzgibbon. Here's Lestrange. Jumping out to link up with George Rose. Grabbed there by Pearce and also Soliola. There's no way they're getting Big George to the ground. Lestrange. Well, a first man play. What a pair of hands. Taking it across the line was Jason King, who scores his second try in as many games. Talk about some sleight of hand there. You'll need to see this in slow motion on the replay to see exactly how it worked out. It was a beautiful pass.
I honestly didn't know where the ball had gone. Heath Lestrange, you spoke about, did you think the ball had come out the back to Warford? I did. You spoke about Heath Lestrange in his ability to go across dummy, and it does seem to be an exaggerated dummy. Look at that. The dummy out the back, and then the flat ball to King. Good play.
Sort of play we saw plenty of, as we mentioned a moment ago, in the run to the premiership last year from Heath Lestrange, and 2 tries. An absolute purple patch of try-scoring form. Jason King now. A long while to break his duck this season. He's gone 2 in 2 weeks.
He's clever, Heath Lestrange.
Jamie Lyon from just about right in front. Take them to 38 and make it 32 the difference, which will take them to an even 50 points plus on the for and against. And that could be important, of course, what they rack up here tonight with the Tigers to take on the Sharks, who are really struggling at this back end of the season. Cronulla, the West Tigers are in a mood tomorrow. They might put a score on themselves. 38-6 it is off the back of the Lion conversion. Jason King, last week he was thereabouts, around about the scene of that heated discussion between Anthony Watmoe and that man, Matt Orford. No discussions tonight, nor has it needed to be, because they've been very good from the opening whistle.
Yeah, not much to be frustrated about tonight. Fitzgibbon with the short kickoff, well, shortish kickoff. Not short enough for anyone to get it from the Roosters. And Manly will start it just outside their 30.
It is the try scorer Jason King who plays it. Now Rodney going to George Rose, who is in a purple patch of try scoring form himself not that long ago. Lestrange again, bringing it back to the halfway line this time. Lost the ball here. It will be a 2-on-1 strip, they say. Sedamara Sarr came up with it after he was involved in the tackle with Willie Mason.
I just hope you saw how good that first play of the ball was too. If he runs 50, it's different.
Here's Lestrange there. Willie Mason makes the tackle on him. Still got him by the legs. He steps out of that, but he hasn't gone far enough for it to be deemed a one-on-one.
It's interesting to hear Anthony Watmoe just querying the referee to asking him exactly how that rule is applied. Just thinking of a strip himself at some stage in the near future. Here they come again. George Rose it is, taking it towards the post. They play it for Lestrange. 10 metres out. Rodney just works it forward for a settler. Stopped there by Soliola over the top with Nuasala around the legs. They come back Lestrange. No first man sleight of hand this time. Well, they went in behind them. Jamie Lyon went in behind one of the decoy men. It was going to be a Shepherd, and in fact will be called a Shepherd by one of our referees, Jared Maxwell, the man blowing the penalty. But they scored a try here. It was going to be no try because Lyon going in behind.
Glenn Stewart is the man that he runs behind, Jamie Lyon, and for the most of the night, Jamie Lyon has looked pretty comfortable kicking the ball, playing one or two off the ruck. He looked a little bit at sea there, running across the field, throwing dummies and trying to pick up his outside men.
Here's Sedamata taking it across the halfway line. Oh, looking ahead, the Roosters meet the Bulldogs next week in round 24. They finish off their season with games against the Storm and also the Cowboys. Friend goes to Pearce, and Fitzgibbon puts it down. There's a chance for a toe ahead and then another Manly try for turnover. Every time they've gone to the fringes tonight to try and put something on, somebody has invariably coughed it up.
Well, they're getting through only a touch over 50% of the ball they've had, which is a lot less than what Manly have, who themselves have made a fair few errors in this second half. 61 to 39.
Yeah, you better.
What a split that is. 41 sets of 6 in total compared to 30. And as you said, the Roosters at 18 out of 30. Right on 60%. The Seagulls are just above 80%. George Rose lashing out and play the ball there for Sedamata as the kick is put in. Chasing through, a chance for the Seagulls. Robertson flying. He won the race for the ball. And he'll get the try as well. A bit of everything tonight at times from Manly. What speed he possesses, reprising an old role he had, of course, on the wing. And what a grand final he had against Manly last year. What about the toe he showed racing through in the race there? Also, no surprise, was Anthony Watmough, who wasn't too far off the pace, it has to be said. He really can motor, but Robertson got there first, and the put down was a good one.
No, I think Desi Hasler would like to see that. Robertson will jump out to one of those wing spots when Brett Stewart comes back. Showed plenty of speed, Robertson. Good play by the Manly side too. Down the short side, Matt Orford had the winger up. Sean Kenny-Dow was up in the defensive line, and as long as the kick was spot on, it did seem like either one of those two were going to win the race to the ball. Watmough just telling Michael Robertson that he was right there, just in case he missed it.
He supplied the long kick. Matt Orford, about 15 to the left-hand side of the uprights, can make this a very, very big scoreline right now. He does exactly that. 44 to 6 it is. And we'll wait and see if the Roosters, perhaps Stewart, have played them back into a bit of form here, the Sea Eagles. Stewart drowned out by the noise of this massive crowd at the football stadium tonight. As the kickoff goes down to Jason King to bring it back. He'll play at 15 out from the line. Farah going across to Rodney. Now Stewart into the right-hand side. And the game will be next week. The Sea Eagles up against the Storm at Olympic Park, remembering Melbourne. Will feature live on Monday Night Football, coming to us from Energy Australia Stadium this week. The Knights with a new coach, the rookie Rick Stone, in charge for the rest of the season. That news coming through from Newcastle at midday today. He'll also be their coach for the next 2 seasons as well. Another kick, another chance for Manly. Although getting there to cut it off was Haraki. Then he gave it off to Mitchell Pearce, who was chased and caught by Anthony Watmough. They're trying kicks of all varieties from inside their own half now, Manly. The Roosters coming back at them. Give it from Minicello to Mason, who in reply gave it back to Minicello. He gave it to Jones. He puts a kick in, chasing through his Perrott, who's playing on the left wing. With Mini back there at fullback, and the Wolfman knocks it dead.
You're not going to get David Williams for speed, eh? See how quickly Williams turned and chased that ball after the kick was put in by Jones. Sam Perrott, no slouch, but Williams easily covered that one up. Minicello, the offload to Jones, who dabbed it into the in-goal area.
No, he certainly can turn and chase in a hurry. Unlike his namesake, of course, Tony Williams, who was dropped for this game. The shortcomings, while he's an absolute monster at times carrying the ball, and we saw that here a couple of weeks ago against the Tigers on a 40-metre run where he beat 5 or 6 defenders. Turning and chasing those, and Tony Williams' strong suit it is, though, of David Williams among some of his other attributes.
No, he's only young, but he has got a turn on him like the Queen Mary, isn't it?
Tony
Williams.
not David.
Not David. No, he's around and there pretty quickly. Good defence by Manly.
Here's Pearce now going to the line, giving it to Ben Jones. Again, a chance in his left-hand side. Parrott, a ball back on the inside, picked up by the Roosters, and they'll play it here about 10 metres out from the Manly line. Saar playing it for Friend. They stack the numbers again down the short side. A good ball this time, and Haraki scores the first try of his first-grade career. Well, they scored early on to make it 6 points all after just 9 minutes. It's taken them another 71 minutes to cross the line. In the end, they came to the left-hand side, went back there again. And it was a good ball, Jake Friend giving it to Ben Jones, who got a couple of players out. Niwi Haraki gets across the line for his first 4 points.
Smart play, Ben Jones. As you said, they went to the left, then came back down the left again. David Williams had just got his feet back on the try line as the play, the ball was happening, so he was caught short and flat-footed. And a nice little cutout ball to give that man his first try.
The siren has sounded, and Craig Fitzgibbon will have the conversion attempt about 13 metres in from the touchline. And this is 4th last game, barring no injuries, of course, as the Rooster. And the veteran gets the flags in the air, 2 from 2 with the boot tonight. The story of the night, of course, is the win by the Seagulls, breaking a 2-game losing streak. And they've beaten the Roosters 44 points to 12.
And they set it up with their first half. Very few mistakes, built plenty of pressure. And while they weren't at their best with the football, it was quite a conservative game in that first half. That set it up for the second half. And in the end, just too much firepower for the Roosters.
They certainly did, and they tried a few variations from their own end. The run to the post as well. One of them bringing them results with Michael Robertson, who was playing his 100th consecutive game tonight, grabbing a double. Let's go downstairs right now to Stuart Raper.
Well, Jamie, a good win. Back to winning ways for you guys, and a pretty good, solid performance.
Yeah, it was good tonight. Good to put a few points on, but a bit disappointing last couple of weeks. But yeah, it's good to get a bit of confidence out of that. And
your ball control was very good. You really snuffed the Roosters out of the game.
Yeah, we had some good completions there in the first half, and that's what you've got to do coming into this end of the season. So we'll take a few positives out of tonight.
And although named at centre, you still played the 5/8 role?
Yeah, played a little bit there. I swapped with young Kieran Four, and he's doing a great job out there. And yeah, it seems to be working. Well, worked tonight, so we might go out for a little while.
All right, mate. Thanks very much. I'll get Glenn Stewart over here. Glenn, great performance. Seems to be working well, the combination in your back row with Bailey and Watmow.
Yeah, Bale's just sort of, as a back row, adds a bit of ball skills and helps out there with Jamie Lyon and Ox, just spreading it wide a little bit extra.
And yourself, playing 80 minutes, you're putting in some good performances.
Oh, I felt every minute out there tonight, mate. So, yeah, I suppose just keep plodding along and, just getting the wins. We want to go in a bit of momentum into the finals. We've been struggling over the last month, so it'd be good to go in for a few wins.
That's right, the Storm next week, big test for you.
Yeah, they're always tough down there, and they'll be up for a big one. But like I say, it's just more about getting our own team right at the moment and playing out good games for ourselves.
Any chance to see your younger brother coming in soon?
Well, that'd be nice, mate. But I suppose it's up to the physio and all that stuff. But yeah, I'd be glad to have him back.
All right, thanks very much, Glenn.
Thanks, mate.
Well, perhaps the Seagulls now just one win away from confirming a finals berth, depending on other results. There'll be some other results this weekend, which could have a big part to play in that as well. We'll take a break and come back to wrap up this first instalment on Super Saturday tonight in just a moment. Stick around.